Okay, today we're going to be trying to make a favourite from my friend in Nigeria, Babatunde. This is going to be Moin Moin. So this is actually my second attempt at doing this, and I'll tell you why. Babatunde very kindly put together a video, which I'll link right here, or in the description, about how to do this. I skimmed that and I missed several important steps, and my result kind of worked, but the texture was wrong. I think I made the bean mixture too thick, and when I cooked it, it went very solid. So I'm going to have another go today. I haven't actually got enough ingredients, so I'm going to have to approximate a few things, but I think we'll be okay. So I got a bunch of beans here that have been soaking in. These have been soaking in warm water for half an hour, and I've got to try to skin these. Now, this is really laborious, and some people don't bother apparently, but since Babatunde did in his, I'm going to do the same in mine. But I've got to say, this is not my favourite part of the job. This is similar to what we had to do for our cara, and there's something about either, I don't know, the beans I can get here or my method of soaking them or whatever that makes them just incredibly tiresome to peel. So anyway, maybe I just haven't got the right kind of hands for the job. The other thing to say is I'm going to be making a smaller quantity because I'm just making it for myself, because I suspect this is going to be too spicy for Jenny. So I've just got to put an egg in to hard boil. Right, meanwhile, let's continue trying to skin these beans. So well, it's kind of working. Let's see if we can get some of those husks away now. Well, that is working. It's just a slow and laborious process. Now, it is possible to actually buy the bean mixture already skinned and ground beans. So I think if I was going to make this on a regular basis, I would probably opt for the labour-saving option of buying the beans already powdered. Okay, well, I'm just going to carry on at this, and we'll come back when I've got them peeled. Okay, that is about as close as I can reasonably get with these beans, I think. It's a lot harder, I think, for me to peel these beans. I don't know if that's just my skill, or the beans, or the method, but I am struggling to get these peeled. That's taken me 3/4 of an hour to peel those beans. I have actually experimented with warm water, with colder water, with longer and shorter soaking times, different beans, all sorts of things. Just doesn't seem to be so easy for me to do this as Babatunde makes it look. So I don't know whether that's skill, could well be, or if it's just that the beans I get in this country are very much drier or different in their properties to what's available out there. Anyway, let's crack on. Now, I don't have one of those terrifying grinders like we saw in Babatunde's video, but I've got a soup blender, which I think will probably do the job. So, well, from yesterday's experience, it did get it down to a reasonably fine paste. So, let's grind the beans. I might have to do this in more than one batch. I've got my onion. It's actually a shallot. Same difference. And we'll start off with just one small onion. I can add, got another one there I can add in later. And these tomatoes. And again, I'll just chop those in there just to make it easier for the blender to get started on them. I've never actually seen tomatoes quite like the ones that we see in Babatunde's video. They're like a even longer plum tomato. They look quite interesting. I'll have to see if I can get hold of some seeds and maybe grow those myself next year, although they might be adapted to a very hot environment like Babatunde finds himself in. So I haven't got any Scotch bonnet chilies left, and I haven't really got the means to go and get any more at the moment. So I'm going to be using this chili oil, crispy chili oil. It's a close enough approximation, I think. So I'm going to use a heaped teaspoonful in there, and this will obviously contribute to the oil content of the recipe as well as the hot chili. It's not going to be exactly right, but I know that this stuff is approximately the same sort of heat level as Scotch bonnet peppers, so I think that will be enough. I can always have a little taste. Right, a little bit of water in there, just to help it along. And let's get blending. It's going pretty well. So I'm going to put the rest of the beans in there and a bit more liquid. Now this mixture is quite a lot thicker at the moment than it should be, but that's fine. What I'm actually going to do to thin it out is, I think, blend another tomato. I've had some bad bits in it, but we'll just work around them. Just going to cut another tomato, another onion, and a bit more water. I'm going to put one of these little stock cubes in there for seasoning, and maybe a bit of salt. Beans will soak up a lot of flavour, so something like this does need a fair bit of seasoning. I think I might put 2 of those stock cubes in there. Yeah, I'm going to put 2 of them in there because they're only about 1 centimetre squared and they're tiny little things. And instead of stock and salt, we'll just go for stock, which contains salt, of course. So next up, I've got some dried crayfish. Now, this is the same dried crayfish that Babatunde used. Fantastic ingredient. I opened the packet of this yesterday, actually. So this is dried crayfish. Let's have a look at it there. Let's have a close look at it. Okay, now I expected this to be really stinky, and actually it is a bit smelly, but it's just got a really, really strong fish stock flavour. So it's not stinky like fish sauce, but it is quite aromatic. Probably about that much. And just rehydrating the crayfish like this in water enables us to just drop out any bits of sand or particles of grit or anything like that that might be in there, or indeed foreign bodies that might not be crayfish. Like that, for example. Right, so that's my Moin Moin mixture, and now we've got to prepare it for cooking. Now, I managed to get hold of the right kind of leaves. These are Emma leaves, I think they're called. And they are the real deal. They are from a plant that's related to the house plant you might have seen called prayer plants. They're in the kind of ginger family, well, order, but not quite closely related to ginger. So I've got to try and make some little packets out of these leaves. Now, I did obviously have a go at this yesterday when I tried it, but I am by no means an expert at this. So expect to see a little bit of fumbling here. So I can't remember whether we do shiny side in or out. I think it's shiny side out. Oh well, let's see what happens. So I managed to find these leaves on eBay from a seller that specialises in African foods. So we have to make a kind of cone like that. We have to fold the bottom up to create a container, which appears to be working. And then we spoon the Moin Moin mix into the hole, into the centre of the cone. Okay. And then we toss in a bit of, this is mackerel that I fried yesterday. I'm not overjoyed that the only fish I could get, or the only mackerel I could get, was this ready filleted, blister packed, sanitized fillets of mackerel, but that's all I could find. Left over from yesterday's attempt at making this dish. And then slices of hard-boiled egg. A bit more of the mixture. Okay, and now to kind of fold it in like that. I think that might have worked. I've got a double steamer here which has got water in the bottom and then a steaming compartment at the top. Now I think I need to fold out the other way and then it will hold itself together. Okay, so I'm just going to rest that there for the moment. Hopefully when we get a few more in there they will support each other and stop each other from unfolding. So my leaves are not the freshest of leaves because they have obviously been shipped probably from Africa. I don't think these are grown in the UK. Yeah, it seems to be working. Famous last words. Well, here we go then. So hopefully those are folded in such a way that they won't come undone. Okay, so we got that on the heat. We're going to bring that to the boil, but just now, last chance to I'm going to jam in a couple of these extra leaves here, folded up, just really to keep things tight and to keep things from unfolding as they steam. So, lid on, we'll bring that to the boil and we'll cook that for half an hour, checking every 5 minutes or so that we're not running out of water, because if we boil dry in the bottom of that pan, that will be a disaster. It's been about 45 minutes and I think it might be done. It's kind of hard to tell, but it feels like what's in there has firmed up. Really hard to be sure. So I'm just going to let that cool down a little bit and then we'll pull one out and have a look at it. And I'm going to leave all this pan set up in case that's a mistake, because if necessary I can fold it up, put it back in here, cook it a bit longer. Okay, so with very great care not to be burnt by escaping steam, let's just open one of these up and see. It looks like, yep, I think that's done. With this I'm going to be having some gari. Now Babatunde tells me just cold water on this and mix it, and apparently it will just hydrate and soak in a few seconds. He also says that some people enjoy this with a bit of sugar on it, so I'm going to have some sugar on there anyway, because I do find it's a little bit tasteless on its own, but that's just me. Well, that has already swelled up a fair bit. Good. Okay, so the main event, however, is my Moin Moin. Now, let's open this up properly now and have a look. So, it's still quite soft. I think probably it could have done with a little bit longer. Oh no, it's cooked and it's held together. It's just quite moist. Okay, it is much softer than what I made yesterday. I think probably cooking it a bit longer would make it set some more. or maybe just allowing it to cool a bit. Let's have a little taste. Wow, yep, that really packs a punch with flavour. This is not as hot as the one I made yesterday with the fresh Scotch bonnets in it, but it is good. This could stand to have a bit more hot pepper in it. That hot pepper flakes in oil obviously isn't that spicy. That is super delicious though. Such a lot of flavour in there, coming from primarily, I would say, those dried crayfish. They are such a powerful flavour, but not overpowering. The texture is a bit like refried beans, and it ought to be because it's kind of the same idea, but wow, what a flavour. Well, I'm thoroughly impressed with that, and I should certainly make this again. I don't know that I'll make it with the leaves. I'll probably find some other way to steam it, and I think I'm going to have to find some other way of making it other than peeling the beans, because that is just laborious and hurts me. But thank you so much, Babatunde, for sharing this recipe with me. I'm really enjoying this. This is my lunch today, and it's fantastic. Really enjoying sharing a meal with you. So that's Moin Moin, or my attempt at making Moin Moin. Please do let me know in the comments if you think I did anything wrong, or if you've got any advice or guidance on what I should have done. And of course, please head over to Babatunde's channel and see him make it. If you're watching this on a device that supports cards, it's this one here. If not, there's a link in the video description. Okay, so hasty addendum, it definitely needs to stand for a little bit after unwrapping before you try to eat it, I think, because when it first comes out of the wrapper, it's really quite floppy and almost semi-liquid. Once it's stood for a few minutes, it turns into this wonderful sort of cake-like texture that you can pick up and eat. So good. This is supposed to be leftovers for my dinner this evening, but I don't know if it's going to last that long. Okay, one more addendum, because this exists. So this is something I picked up in Sainsbury's, and it's apparently an instant Moin Moin mix. However, looking at the ingredients, it looks like this has been formulated to be suitable for vegetarians. So the ingredients are black-eyed bean flour, onion powder, red pepper powder, salt, celery extract, yeast extract, spices, chilli and turmeric, rice flour, sunflower oil, lemon juice, parsley. There's no dried crayfish in there, there's no fish stock, there's nothing in there. I think this is going to be, this is going to be more like refried beans, to be honest, because there's nothing in there to give it the really savoury punch. But anyway, that's probably enough talk about this. We will open and review this in a future video. But I can't help feeling that this is going to be a slight disappointment. So there we go, that was a video all about Moin Moin. I hope that's been interesting. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.